Welcome back to the Reconnection Podcast. I'm your host, and today we're joined again by Dr. Michael Barta, creator of the Reconnection model. In this episode, we're talking about something many people in recovery know all too well. That's white-knuckling, trying harder, clamping down, using willpower to force change. Dr. Barta, why does white-knuckling fail so consistently, especially when people are highly motivated to change?
White knuckling is control without connection. All right. It's the belief that if I try harder, stay disciplined, and avoid temptation, I'll finally be free. It usually involves rules, suppression, secrecy, and fear. We say to ourselves, I'm not going to think about it. Don't feel it. Don't tell anybody about this. But here's the problem. Willpower comes from the prefrontal cortex, the front part of our head, right? An intimacy disorder lives in the nervous system. And when someone is triggered, stressed, or emotionally overwhelmed, the prefrontal cortex goes offline, and then our survival, system takes over.
So willpower disappears exactly when it's needed most.
Exactly. White knuckling asks the weakest part of our brain to override the strong survival wiring. And that's not healing, that's exhaustion.
You're very clear that intimacy disorder, not lack of discipline, is the root issue. Why does willpower miss that entirely?
Because intimacy disorder isn't about wanting the behavior. It's about not feeling safe in connection. White knuckling doesn't create safety. It actually reinforces the nervous system's belief that being seen is dangerous. And when someone relies on willpower alone, they often stay emotionally isolated and internally vigilant, right? And they're so afraid of failure. This keeps the nervous system stuck in protection, either fight or flight, or we shut down.
So even if the behavior stops temporarily, the internal system hasn't changed.
Right. Nothing's changed at all. The system never learns a new way of coping, right? And eventually the urge comes back even stronger, not because the person is weak, but because the nervous system is still crying out for safety and relief.
So let's talk about shame. How does shame interact with white knuckling?
Well, shame is definitely the fuel for addiction, and white knuckling is almost always going to increase the shame because it creates a pass fail system. So if someone slips up, they don't think I need support. They automatically think I'm broken. And shame drives secrecy, and secrecy drives isolation. Isolation then is going to intensify and reinforce intimacy disorder. And the nervous system learns again connection isn't safe.
So the very strategy meant to stop behavior strengthens the cycle.
Yes. Okay. So self protection looks like control, withdrawal, and performance, right? But prevents authenticity, vulnerability, transparency, and presence. And without these four pillars, the nervous system never experiences the safety, the internal safety that's required for real change.
So if white knuckling fails, what actually creates that lasting change?
It's not just the typical definition of connection. It's, much deeper. It's that co-regulation. It's when our nervous system's interacting with another system, and it brings us a sense of relief and peace. And people with intimacy disorders, nervous systems just will not allow that. So this connection, not accountability, is the key, right? Co-regulation is a key. And when someone experiences safety while being fully seen, our nervous system rewires. And I see this all the time in my intensive. And it's kind of like magic because we're not intentionally doing that, but it's a byproduct of the intensive, right? It's people are being seen and they're feeling safe to be seen in all the wreckage of their life. That removes the shame almost immediately, right? And that's how our intimacy disorder heals, not through force, but through repeated experiences of safe connection.
That reframes recovery completely. White knuckling isn't strength, it's survival, and survival can't lead us to where we're trying to go.
Yeah, and that's, why willpower can't stop addiction. And, for those of listening, for those of us in recovery, we tried to willpower our way through this for a long, long time, right? I can do this, I can get over this. If I don't, I'm weak. But it can't stop it entirely. It can, stop the behaviors temporarily, but this connection is the only thing that can heal the system that created it.
Thank you, Dr. Barta. In our
Pleasure.
next episode, we'll talk about relapse differently, why relapse isn't failure, what it actually reveals about the nervous system, and how it can become a turning point instead of a collapse. Until then, thanks for listening to the Reconnection Podcast.